Hi class, my name is Amy Bohr. I'm going to be your professor this semester, and I wanted to take a few minutes to go over Blackboard, a little bit about the syllabus, talk a little bit about myself, and a little bit about the expectations for the course. So I'm recording this in the summer of 2017, but I'm planning on using this video for several semesters. So if you see something when we're going over the video that just doesn't jive with what you see in Blackboard or on your syllabus, it's simply because I've recorded this in the summer of 2017 and I'm using it over several semesters. So I'm going to try to keep everything very generic so that I can use it over several semesters. So again, my name is Amy Bohr and I am a CPA, and I will be teaching this small business accounting class this semester. And I've run this class several semesters, and when you signed up for the class, you may or may not have known that this is what's called a Z course, which for TCC means zero textbook cost. And so we will be using an online textbook and an online homework tool. So if you've ever used Connect or MyLab, the online homework manager that we have will be very similar to that, where you'll go in, do your homework, you click submit, and it tells you whether you got the answers right or wrong. You can do the homework over and over again until you get it right or until the due date comes. So that's the online homework manager, and there is a separate video talking about how to register in that and a few little other tidbits about it. So make sure you watch that video as well. There's also a separate video on how to access and use the online textbook. So make sure that you view that video as well. I tried to keep them a little bit short. There's also links over here on the left-hand side of Blackboard that will link you directly to the textbook or directly to the online homework manager. I do highly recommend that once you open these for the first time, you save them or bookmark them in your web browser, and so that if Blackboard is ever down, you still have access to the textbook and the homework manager. I'm going to start here in the announcements page, and so you can see here that if there are any technical difficulties with Blackboard, you should contact the help desk. If there are any technical difficulties with the online textbook or the online homework manager, you'll contact me. I try to send out announcements every week reminding you of things that are due, but it is your responsibility to make sure that you're turning assignments in on time. So if I happen to go out of town or whatever and I just forget to send the email out reminding you, it is still your responsibility to make sure things are turned in. So there will be a video. There will be an announcement this first week, just welcoming everybody to class and reminding you to register and all that good stuff, giving you my contact information. And so if you did not get this welcome email, please make sure that you go into Blackboard and make sure that it has the proper email address for you, because this will be the same email address that's used all semester, okay? And so once you read through the announcements, you should start here in the Start Here course tool. So all these items over here are known as their Blackboard course tools. So if you hear me say course tool, that's what I'm talking about. So if you click on Start Here, you will see a little blurb about myself and a little bit about the structure of the course. You've already found the welcome video, obviously, and the prerequisite or technical skills. There aren't any prerequisites for this course, Accounting 220, so that you don't have to be in a particular math course or anything like that. The only thing I will say here is you do have to have a reliable internet connection, because of course obviously this is an online course, so you're going to need to be able to get online to view things. And you have an online textbook and an online homework manager, so lots of stuff going on online. So make sure you have a reliable internet connection. If not, you can always come to campus, any of the 4 campuses, to the computer labs or the libraries. And also, most of the time you can go to the public library and they have a computer lab in there as well. So just make sure that you have reliable internet access, and if you don't have that at home, you make sure you look at the hours of operation for wherever it is you're going to use the computer at, whether it be the library, computer lab, or whatever. Again, there is a required textbook, but you do not have to purchase it. It is free. There is a link here, and there is a link over here in the course tools. So I'm just going to click on it once and open it up just so you can see what it looks like. But again, there is a separate video explaining exactly how you use this. So it looks just like the table of contents for any other textbook. You guys can scroll through and look at that. There are 13 chapters, and we will be covering all 13 chapters. Okay, so that's the online textbook. And there's the video there on how to use the online textbook, because it does have videos embedded in the textbook that are very helpful as well. And then you have your first steps here. So just make sure you read through that. And then navigating the course just explains what you can find in each one of the Blackboard course tools, which again are these things over here. These are the course tools. It has every single one of these and exactly what you'll find in each one. The homework manager, I also have a separate video here as well. I'm going to move that up a little bit so it'll be right under the textbook thing, but I just haven't done it yet. So how to register in the online homework manager, it not only goes over how to register, but a few other little tidbits once you get in and start registering. You do need this course ID and the enrollment key. And again, I'm using this video over several semesters, so your course ID and enrollment key may be different than what is shown in this video. So make sure you're picking up your course ID and your enrollment key to be able to access that. If you have ever used MyOpenMath before in any of your math courses, this is the same exact thing. It's just MyOpenMath has split off into what's called this online homework manager. Lumen Learning has split it off from MyOpenMath, but it's the same exact feel of MyOpenMath. So if you've ever used that before, it'll be very, very similar. And then make sure you read these etiquette rules. If you've never taken an online class before, really make sure you read those. It just goes through things like make sure you're not using all capital letters when you're typing responses. It makes it look like you're shouting in an online environment. And just being respectful to other students. We will have some discussion boards. So you will be communicating with other students, and just make sure you're respectful when you do that. So your first discussion board is to introduce yourself to classmates. If you've ever taken another online course, you'll realize that that is one of the first requirements in every online course is to introduce yourself. So that's the Start Here tab. Then in the Course Information tab, you'll see that there's a plagiarism document there. You can read through that. And then anytime you see a folder in Blackboard, there are other things once you click on the link that you will see. So whenever you see that folder, it'll be important to open it up and see what's in there. So here you'll find the course syllabus and our course schedule. You'll see the different weeks there. See that we're covering 2 chapters per week in this summer session. If you're in a regular 16-week session, it won't be 2 chapters a week. And then the grading policy here. You can see that there's 4 exams, including the final. There's homework for every chapter. There's quizzes for almost every chapter. And then there's 4 discussion boards. And then just how to calculate your grade. Each one of these has points assigned to it. And so, like for chapter 1, is worth 25 points for the homework. Chapter 1 and 2, terminology homework, is worth 25 points. So if you earn all 25 out of 25 gives you 100%. So it just walks through how to calculate your grade. And then the grading scale there. And then I also do drop the lowest homework grade and the lowest quiz grade. So I do not round grades up at the end because dropping those lowest homework and quiz grades gives you way more benefit than me rounding a grade up. So at the very end, if your grade is an 89.99, unfortunately that is going to be a B. That is not going to round up to an A. That's just my policy. Later makeup work. I pretty much do not accept any late work. The only exception to that rule is your homework in the online homework manager. You are given 15 late passes for the semester, and you're allowed to use 2 late passes on each homework. And what a late pass will do is extend the deadline by 24 hours. And so most items are going to be due by 5 o'clock on Monday. The weeks are going to run Tuesday to Monday. And so everything will be opened up by Tuesday at the latest. Most of the time I open up a little bit earlier than that, but Tuesday at the latest, and then it'll be due by the following Monday at 5 p.m. So make sure that you're getting that stuff in. If you're not done with your homework by the due date, you can go into the online homework manager and click on a little button right beside the homework that says use a late pass, and that will extend the due date for 24 hours. However, it does deduct 10% off of whatever your homework grade is. So if you would have gotten 100 and you used a late pass, the highest grade you could possibly get would be a 90. And you can use two of those. So you use it to extend it 24 hours, you're still not done. You have to click to use another late pass to extend it 24 more hours. That gives you 48 hours. And if you're still not done, your grade is what it is at that point. If you haven't finished it in 48 hours, it's just, that is what it is. And these are just general TCC policies, so you could read through those if you like. The bulk of the material is going to be under this course content area. So if you click on that, you'll see that I've already got the first 2 weeks worth of work open, which covers chapters 1 through 4. This covers the basic accounting cycle, chapters 1 through 4. And your first exam will be after chapter 4. So I went ahead and opened up both of them because, again, I know it's a lot of work, and I know some students like to work ahead. But again, you'll see there's a folder here, so if you click on it, there's more stuff inside. All of the weekly folders are laid out pretty much exactly the same way. You'll have weekly assignment instructions up here that tell you what's due for the week, when it's due. Another welcome video was the same video that you're watching right now. It's just here in another place. And then you'll have a weekly reading viewing materials and weekly assignments folder. So if you click on the weekly reading viewing materials folder, you'll find, again, the video to how to access the free online textbook and also how to register for the online homework manager. Anytime you see this icon, a piece of paper with the earth, that means that is a web link. So if you click here, it'll take you directly to the chapters to read in the online textbook for those 2 chapters. There are PowerPoints here. Some students like them. I've heard a lot of good feedback from my online students because I did create these PowerPoints myself, and I put a lot of examples with how to work the problems in the PowerPoints. The first one, not so much because it's just kind of a background thing, but once you get a little bit further, chapter 2, 3, 4, when we start doing some actual problems, there are some problems and some very good examples on the PowerPoint, so make sure you read through those. And then sometimes there's some handouts. So there's a basic chart of accounts here. It is an Excel file. You might want to open that up and save it to wherever you're saving your documents. And then down at the very bottom of the weekly reading viewing materials folder is these optional practice demonstration problems. These would be problems that I would do in a face-to-face class as classwork if this were a face-to-face class. So I put them out here for your benefit as well. They're optional. You do not have to do them. They will not be counted for a grade, but I do highly recommend that you go through them, especially if you need more practice. You may want to do them before the homework or after the homework. Again, it doesn't matter to me because they're not going to be graded. So if you click on it, open it up, notice that these are, again, Excel files. So if I open it up, just in case you've never worked in Excel before, you'll have to enable the editing. And you'll see here that you're supposed to solve the accounting equation, fill in the yellow boxes that are missing. And if you've never worked in Excel before, just be aware that this is what's called a workbook when you open it up. And then you've got worksheets. It's not just this first page. So if you click on the different tabs, these are called worksheets. And you can see that there is more work here. And then example 3 has you doing the financial statements, the income statement, statement of retained earnings, and the balance sheet. So if you're doing the optional practice problems, just make sure that you click on all the worksheets. And so these are the actual problems. And then if you go back to Blackboard, you'll see the solutions to those problems in a separate Excel file. So I would recommend that you read through the chapter, read through the PowerPoint, then try to do some of these optional practice problems if you want to. And then you can check your work here before you go and do the homework and the quizzes. And so you can see this is the exact same information as what we opened up earlier, but now the answers are provided. So you can see here, all the answers. Okay? So again, those are just optional. You don't have to do them. They're not graded. So weekly reading viewing materials is where you're going to find the PowerPoint, links to the exact chapters you're supposed to read for that week. There may be some handouts, and these optional practice problems. So if you go back to the week 1 folder, then you can go down into the weekly assignments folder, and you can see your very first assignment is to register in the online homework manager, complete the week 1 discussion board form where you're introducing yourself, do the homework and the quizzes. So again, it's a lot of work in this shortened summer session. So again, register in the online homework manager. There's a video there explaining how to do that. It's pretty easy. You just click on the link to the homework manager and register as a new student. It's not rocket science. It's just like registering for any other new website. You just have to make sure you're using the proper course ID and enrollment key. And then once you're registered, you can use these links again to take you right to the homework manager. If I click on it, you'll see it there. Then make sure you're writing down your username and password because you're going to have to be going into this website every week to do your homework, okay? And then your quizzes are done in Blackboard. And they're mostly multiple choice, matching, true, false, those types of things. You do have 2 attempts at your quizzes. Let me back up a second. Your homework in the online homework manager, you can do as many times as you want before the due date. So if it takes you 15 tries to get it right, then it takes you 15 tries to get it right. I don't care. Homework is for learning. That's where you learn and learn from your mistakes. Once you hit submit, when you're done with a question, it will tell you whether you're right or wrong. And so when you hit submit, if you've earned all of the points, it'll tell you up at the very top, you've earned 12 out of 12 points. And it'll have green check marks. So you know what you got right and what you got wrong. So make sure you take advantage of doing that over and over and over again. Again, you just keep submitting. Doesn't take any points off as long as it's done before the due date. Quizzes are a little bit different though. So make sure you've done the homework and you're comfortable with the material before you open the quiz. Once you click to open the quiz, you have to finish it. You can't go in and out like you can with the homework. And you have 2 attempts on a quiz. So once you click on this link and you open it up, that will be 1 attempt. You'll have to finish it before you can go out. If you click on it to open it up just to look at the questions and then close it, that's going to be your 1 attempt. And you'll only have 1 more left. So make sure you're ready for it when you click on the quizzes. It is open notebook, open book, so you can use any materials that you want. Just make sure you get it done before the due date. And most items are due by Monday at 5 p.m. This first week, Monday happens to be a holiday, and so the due date has been extended to Tuesday, but just be aware that most assignments are due by Monday at 5. The discussion boards, let me talk about that for a quick second. You will find a link to all the discussion boards. You can click here and it'll take you right to the discussion board area. Or over here in the course tools, you could click on the discussions and it would take you to the discussion board area there. So let's just click here into this introduce yourself to your classmates. Notice when you click there, it does take you to the discussion area in Blackboard, but you can't see anything. You will have to create your thread first before you can see anybody else's responses. And so you are charged with creating your own personal thread, which means responding to the question, right? In your own terms. In this case, you can read here in blue, that's what you're supposed to be responding to. Your original post is typically due by Saturday at 5 p.m. And then you're also charged with responding to 2 other students. So your original post with whatever your thoughts are to the question that's being posed for that week is due by Saturday at 5. And then your replies to at least 2 other students is due by Monday at 5. And this first week is due Tuesday because Monday was a holiday. So original post Saturday, 2 other students by Monday at 5. And all the deadlines are 5 p.m. So make sure you get that done. And then there's the rubric here. If anything is posted late, it will not be graded. So if you post it Saturday at midnight, you will not earn those 3 points for your original post because it'll be late. And make sure that when you're responding to other students, you don't just put, yeah, I agree. Tell why you agree or disagree. This is a discussion board. It is supposed to be discussed. Also, make sure you are using spell check and you're using complete sentences. This is not an English course, and I'm not an English instructor by any means, but it's still a business course, and you should be responding to other students like you would be responding to a client or a partner in a firm that you work for. So make sure that you're rereading your posts before you post them, and make sure there's no misspelling. You could even type them up in Word if you wanted to, and then copy it into the discussion board so it would capture your misspellings and everything, because sometimes the Blackboard spell check isn't all that great. So again, just put in your original response by Saturday at 5 p.m. and then respond to at least 2 other students. There's 5 total points to earn, 3 points for your original post, and 1 point each for your response to 2 other students. So, all right. I think there's 4 discussion boards throughout the whole semester. I think that's pretty much it. Let me just double check to make sure there wasn't anything else I wanted to say. Oh, let me just talk about the syllabus real quick. I'm not going to go over everything. You guys can read it. But this is an online course, and I am only available online. I do give you my cell phone number there, but I will only answer it during these office hours that I have listed here. If you happen to leave a voicemail outside of my normal office hours, I will respond to you by the next office hour. So you can text me, you can email me, or you could call the cell phone number during my office hours. The best way to reach me is still through email, and my email address is listed there, and so you can email me. If you do email me, please make sure you put your name and the class. Well, not your name, because your name will be on the email. But make sure you put the class. I'm teaching a couple classes this semester, and so it makes it a lot easier for me to respond if I know you're in the small business online class or auditing online, whatever. And then again, also put your name. I've had several students that have emailed me from their cell phones, and they don't put their name in there, and so I don't have a clue who I'm responding to. Kind of makes it hard for me to respond. And again, the textbook website is listed here. The online homework manager is listed there. The Blackboard site is listed there. Course description. Again, I'm not going to read through all this stuff for you. You can read through this. I just wanted to go over real quickly all the things you're going to be graded on. Discussion board questions, we've already kind of talked about that. Your original post is due by Saturday at 5. Response to at least 2 other students, typically Monday by 5. And there's the grading rubric again. Exams. When we do exams, you will be able to use 1 page of notes. It's closed book. You do not have to come into the testing center. It's on your honor at home, but during the exam, you're allowed to use 1 page, 1 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper with any notes that you want to on them. It's closed book for everything else, so whatever you think you're going to need, think about your weaknesses that you've had throughout the chapters. You may want to put an example on here or whatever. Whatever you want on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, front only, not front and back. It is timed, so you would not even have time to go through and look up all the answers in the textbook simply because it's timed. But I do not make my students come into the testing center. If, however, you do have accommodations where you are allowed double time or 1.5 times or whatever, and you need that quiet environment of the testing center, please just let me know very quickly so that I can make sure you're properly accommodated. Quizzes, again, we've kind of already talked about those. Those are going to be due Monday by 5 p.m. as well, and you do have 2 attempts for those. So if you did the first attempt and you just didn't do so hot, maybe you got a 60 or something and you really want that A or the B, take it a second time. Homework, again, is all going to be done in that online homework manager, and you can do that as many times as you want to right up until the due date. And again, I've already talked about the 15 late passes. Homework is really the only thing I accept late. Nothing else, really. I mean, you have a whole week, and sometimes even more. Typically, I'll open the stuff up Friday, and it's not due until the following Monday. And so typically, you have like 10 days or longer to get stuff done. And that's another reason why I don't really accept late work, especially in this online environment, because you've had 10 days or more to get it done. I just don't have a whole lot of sympathy for that. So make sure you're trying to get the stuff done, as soon as it's opened up. That way, if something happens at the end of the week and you are pressed for time, you don't get, crunched at the end, trying to ask for extra time. And I'm just going to say no. It's just the way it is. And so here is the suggested course schedule. If anything changes, most of the time it won't, but if anything changes, I'll make sure to let you know. and most of the time that'll be through a Blackboard announcement with an email being sent. So make sure you're checking Blackboard, make sure you're checking your emails, because I do send out, excuse me, some announcements reminding you of things. Course attendance, again, this is an online course, so the only way that I can count attendance is if you do your work. So if you don't do your work for the week, you're going to be counted absent, and any students missing the equivalent of 1.5 weeks of assignments will be administratively withdrawn from the course. Any student not doing the first week's assignment will be dropped by May 30th. That is the last day to drop to get a tuition refund. So those students that don't do the first week's work, I typically go ahead and drop. But we already talked about late makeup work. Excuse me, my voice is giving way. Student classroom behavior, really, that's just something TCC makes us put in there. Really don't have an issue with that in an online course, obviously, other than making sure you're using those netiquette rules when you're doing a discussion board. Inclement weather, again, with an online course, this typically does not affect us because you've had, like I said, 10 days to get stuff done. So even if there's a bad storm and power goes out for a couple days, you've still got, 8 days or more to have gotten it done. So again, I really don't have a whole lot of sympathy for those students who wait till the last minute to try to get something done and then they end up having technical difficulties because you've had a long time to get it done. So just make sure you're managing your time properly. College shutdown, again, typically that doesn't affect online classes. The only thing it would affect would be office hours. If the college is closed, obviously there can't be office hours. Not having access to a computer or the internet is not a valid excuse. Again, you signed up for the online course. You knew you were going to have access to the internet, so make sure that you do. We've already talked about grading policies. Last day, again, to withdraw for tuition refund is May 30th, and the deadline to withdraw from the course without academic penalty is June 25th. And again, I'm going to be using this video over several semesters, so your dates may be different if you're watching this video and it's not summer 2017. So just make sure you look at the syllabus for your particular dates. Plagiarism won't be accepted. Make sure that these are all individual assignments. Make sure you're doing them on your own. Again, if you have educational accessibility accommodations, make sure you send me that form immediately so I can make sure you're properly accommodated. Emergency procedures, again, that really doesn't apply to an online class. And then how to get online help if you have issues with Blackboard. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I am very good at responding to emails. The only thing I will warn you about is sometimes I do not respond over the weekends, especially in summertime. We are traveling a lot, and so that's why I have everything due on Monday instead of Sunday, so I have time to respond. So sometimes I still have access to the internet and I will respond on the weekend, but don't count on it. So if you send me an email over the weekend, I will not get back to you until Monday by close of business, okay? So make sure that you're looking, again, at the material ahead of time, and if you have any questions, you send those to me before the weekend gets here, okay? All right, I hope everybody has a good semester, and please, please don't hesitate to email me if you have questions. I am more than willing to help with anything, okay? Have a good semester.